I shut my mouth, I became a student again, and I went to my different little group trainings. I went to a couple of my masterminds. I went to some of my live events, and you know what I did? I did what I did when I first started with my dad and when I first went in the information business. The stuff I do again today, I will never make that mistake again. I went and listened. I read hundreds and hundreds of posts. I read hundreds and hundreds of emails. I sent out surveys to my current clients, and I found out what they were feeling. They were scared. They wanted more out of life, but they needed a path and plan. Their mindset was that this economy won't let them go. I listened to all of the things they said. They told me their fears, their desires. I listened to them. I knew the pain. I knew what they were worried about. I knew what they just craved more than anything. Because I knew if they got my book, I could change their life. Remember, that's the most important part. You don't want to use these tactics to be sneaky to get them into something that doesn't change their life. Fix that. And then you can feel good about next level marketing, because that's the only way we impact. What's up, Inner Circle? Is it a surprise that I had the same exact shirt on last month? So just so everyone's aware, I have like 30 of these. That's all I wear. Light gray and dark gray. God, does it make life so simple. Hey, what's going on? It's a pleasure, a privilege to have you here. You guys are in the chat right in front of me. I see all the great messages coming in. I will, later on, we'll do some Q&A. If you're new to the Inner Circle, welcome. If you're our family member coming back month after month, it's a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor to have you here, where we share marketing, mindset, and momentum strategies that I've learned from being an entrepreneur for over 30 years, which I learn on a regular basis. Believe me, I still fail miserably. I still get scared. I still have incredible breakthroughs, and I still wake up in the middle of the night going, what the hell am I doing? You're not smart enough to handle all this. Like, I still go through all those emotions that I thought would go away when I was 20. And then I thought they'd go away when I was 30, and then 40, and then 50. And maybe they'll be gone by 60. I don't know. But it's so great to have you guys here. And this is what we do. In this group, we spend the time to go upstream. And that's what I love to share. It's like, how do we go upstream and anchor in stability? So if you're one of our KBB family members, what's up, KBB family? You have the foundation for mindset, momentum, marketing. If you're in any other industry, in any other part of the world, it doesn't matter. What we share here is truly the pieces that I wish someone gave me. That's what I love this group. That's why I love having you guys here with me. It's beyond anything. Like every month, I look forward to sharing with you guys. I love the comments. I love more than anything is when you guys take it and implement, and then we get a message how it shifted your life, how it got you over the hurdle, got you through the tough time. So I guess the best way you could compliment or thank me is not with words, to just go out and do it. Is change scary? Hell yes. Going to another level? Scary? Hell yes. Scaling the business you already have, or deciding to transition to do something more meaningful, is it scary? Hell yes. Getting your first client, getting your first person to pay you to do something, making your first sale, or scaling the company you have and feels risky. It's all scary, but here's the thing I know. Life's going to happen anyway. We're going to be scared anyway. We're going to have to overcome obstacles anyway. We're going to have to create new stories anyway. We're going to have to learn new capabilities anyway. So why not do it in something that can truly allow you to tap in to your full potential? And that's really what we're here about. You know, I'm in the busiest month of the year. Probably the busiest month of my life. As you guys probably know, especially if you're KBB members already, KBB is the Knowledge Broker Blueprint, with a course and training and a blueprint I did with my dear friend Tony Robbins, teaching people how to enter the knowledge industry. We are in the information age. Knowledge has become the new currency, and that course teaches people how to share what they know and experience an adventure, a passion, an expertise, or even how to take a mess and turn it into a message. How can you take that, impact people's lives, and create success for yourself all at the same time, right? So I share that only because on February 27th, we're going live. And I can't tell you how many moving parts there are. Like, we'll probably have 250,000 people watching us live. If you knew not just the studio, like, there's 500,000 moving parts. It's insanity. But when I'm in those insane moments, that's why I think this is really important today that we're here. I almost pushed it and said, can we do in March? I was going to ask you that, especially because not only are we launching, right, with probably 250,000 or more people going to show up. Not only do we have amazing partners and people that want to support our movement around the world that we're supporting, not only did we upgrade the software, upgrade the program, all those things. I'm not selling you KBB today. What I'm saying is all those pieces are going on, while simultaneously we are less than 6 weeks away from my wife and I having a baby. It's a baby boy. His name is Luca. We're already excited. Can't wait to meet him. So that's 6 weeks away. So we are prepping at home. We are prepping at the office. But when I get into that space, it's really when you grow the most. It's really when you're kind of pulled apart, scared, unsure. You got to find courage because the confidence isn't there yet. All these things, it's honestly when I grow the most. I think today could be I know today's going to be an incredible training because I'm in that space. I am going. Like, had to go to Florida. I went, turned around, came back because there's just no time. Did a million things, worked on the plane, landed, was working in the airport. Like, that's where it's at. But in those moments, that's either the time you get scared and go, this is too much, or, wow, look how I can stretch. So this is what I decided to do. I have a big Nick right here with me who helps manage this Inner Circle family. And I had her she sent out a questionnaire to all of you, asking what the top things you'd love for me to share. What would be the top things on the planet to share in a Inner Circle training? And the top 2 were these, and that's what we're going to cover today. How to avoid going into your shell when life gets tough. Number 2, how do you stay true to yourself and achieve success at the same time? Those are your top 2 questions, and I can't wait to share both of them with you. So, I don't know about you. Again, no matter where you are right now, I promise you this will resonate with you. If you're just getting started in life and growth, and maybe you just found me and had one set of thoughts your whole life, and like me, when I found Tony Robbins 25 years ago, I was taught this kind of thinking, and all of a sudden I'm introduced to Tony Robbins. I'm like, wait a minute, that's completely counterintuitive to everything I've been told. But then it just made sense, and it course corrected and shifted my life forever. Life would never be the same after I met that guy. And I didn't even meet him in person. I met him through DVDs and courses and tapes and books, right? And then I was introduced to Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle and all these great people. But that was a shift. So you might be in that place like, I'm just in this world. It's kind of new, kind of scary, kind of believe you, Dean, just not sure. Or you could be on the complete opposite. Like, I know this is my life. I'm here to serve. I'm here to make an impact. I'm here to do something meaningful on this earth. I'm ready to transition. I'm ready to scale. I'm ready to move. It doesn't matter what end you're on. What I really think I've become good at is making sure that I deliver a message to you that no matter what end of the spectrum you're on or dead in the middle, this will work and this will mean something in your life. And I always say this, take what serves you and throw the rest away. Take what serves you and throw the rest away. That's what today's message is all about. I'm going to cover some really great stuff. I'm going to tell you some personal stories, and I'm going to loop them back to you. And then we're going to get towards the end here, and I'm going to ask some questions, and Abigna's going to write them down. I'm going to answer as many questions as I possibly can. So later, when you're ready for a question, in fact, you're watching this the whole time, right, Abigna? If I say something in the middle and you have a really burning question, write a cue and put it in here. Abigna will write it down, and then I'll answer them at the end. Okay, so how to avoid going into your shell when life gets tough. So I would love to say to you that I have mastered this skill, and that never happens to me anymore because I'm strong and I've been through this, and I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. And I've been through some really tough times, and I've been broker than broke. And I unfortunately went through a divorce years ago that was very painful. I wish I could say to you that when things get tough, or someone lets you down, or someone pulls the carpet underneath you, or a friend just ends up not being the friend you thought. How do you not go into a shell? How do you not go, yeah, I shouldn't have tried more. This is too tough. And I want to kind of give you a framework, and then I want to tell you both sides of it. Then I want to relate it to you. This is just my notes that I've been working on to get this training to you. Listen, one thing you got to realize, when I share with you, you're my family. I don't practice these. These aren't courses I've created. Each month, I want to come up with a topic, and the first and only time I teach them is here with you. So if it's ever a little clunky, realize this is something I dream up. I take it out of my life experience. I take what you need, and I deliver it to you absolutely the best way I can. If I screw it up, make yourself feel better that you can screw up too, okay? So I'm going to deliver it in the best way possible. So think about, I'm going to share a story. When I was 28 years old, I already bought Tony Robbins' infomercial product called The Ultimate Edge off of TV. I think it was called The Ultimate Edge back then. Got the cassette tapes and got my little Sony Walkman with the orange buds. I'm dating myself. For those of you who don't remember that, before there was music on here, you had to do a lot more things. I had this big old clunky thing on my side, put the cassette tape in, close it, put my earbuds on, and I'd listen to this thing, and I devoured it. It impacted my life so much that I wanted to go into this industry. I'm like, oh my God, somebody gave me knowledge. Like, I paid for information. A lot of people wouldn't do. My father told me I was insane for paying for information. Like what you're doing. You're paying to be a part of this group. My dad's like, that's insane. You know, trial and error, right? I love my dad. He's definitely converted now. He's completely on the other side. But at that time, that's where he was at. So I'm telling you this for a reason. So I get this. I listen to tapes. My life changes. Within 2 years, I'm like, I got to do the same thing. I didn't know even the information business was a business back then. I just know Tony had some skills. He shared them. I took them. My life changed. Wow. I'm like, there's a lot of people that need information in maybe what I'm good at. So I'm like, what am I good at? At the time, I was good at two things, cars and real estate. I was really good at buying cars cheap, cleaning them up, and selling them for a profit. That's what I did. I had an auto sales. I would run cool, unique ads like, don't trade your car in and get a low price. When you can call me, I can get you a better price. And I'd have people go, I just offered a $5,000 trade. And I'm like, let me try to sell it. I'll sell it for $7,000 and we'll split the profit and you'll get more. And I did all these unique ways because I was broke and hustling. So I had auto sales and I was doing good with cars. So I created a knowledge course called Motor Millions and taught people how to make money with cars. I know that's a crazy niche. Like, who would do that? I don't think, there's probably not, maybe there's one person on here that would want to learn how to make money with cars. I know it's a small niche, but the world is so big, right? So I get all fired up, right? And this is going to come back to you. I'll tell you why. How to avoid going into your shell. I was all fired up. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I don't care what anybody says. And I had people telling me I was nuts and I was crazy, and I'm doing it anyway. And I sat down and I was getting up at literally like 5 o'clock in the morning because I had to be at my office at 8. My office, we called it the shop. That's where I worked on cars every day, right? I'd paint under my nails, headaches from paint fumes because I'd paint the cars, change the brakes, clean the interiors, do whatever it took to take a car that wasn't so great and make it beautiful and then sell it, right? So I'd go to the shop. But before I went to the shop, I started working on this course called Motor Millions. And I figured out how to do graphics to create the covers of the manuals, and I had to record audios. Oh my God, let me just tell you something. This seems easy now, but it wasn't 20-something years ago, 28, 9, 10, 23, 24 years ago. Oh my God, I don't even know if that audio is around, but the last time I heard it, I was so embarrassed. Like, I'm like, oh my, I can't listen. My team, I'm like, that's cringe. Please, just get rid of it. I can't listen to that anymore. But I recorded all this stuff, and then I want to tell you, as I'm going through it, I'm realizing how much money it takes to produce, because there was no iTunes, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was no Zoom, there wasn't Instagram, there wasn't any of this. Like I had to produce an infomercial, so I created the product, and the only way to get it in people's hands, I had to do what Tony did. I bought off an infomercial with Tony, right? So I'm learning how to build an infomercial, learning how to build a course, while simultaneously running my collision shop, my auto sales, and I had about 20 apartments at the time, right? So I'm managing my apartments. I got a beeper or a pager on the side of my hip. Yeah, back then you had a pager and a cell phone in your car. So people would page you, and then you go to your car, and then you'd call them. See, totally dating myself. So why am I telling you all this? Because when I was really close and I used up pretty much all my money and I was using credit cards, my sister, who I love dearly, drove up from Virginia. I lived in upstate New York, and she drove up because she's an amazing older sister and she wanted to protect me. And she sat me down like an intervention, and she said to me, Dean, you're going too far. You're going to go broke. You don't know. The infomercials, tell me, how do you get it on the air? I'm like, I don't even know yet. It's like, who takes the calls? I'm like, I don't know yet. And she's like, what stations do you play on? Who's going to produce your product? She asked me this big list of questions. Truthfully, a lot of the things I didn't think about. And she was doing it out of pure love. No disrespect at all. My sister's more conservative than me, and I was just going after it, filled with in my heart. And she left, right, with love, gave me a hug. She says, I'm not trying to be mean, Dean, but you've done so well. You came from nothing. We lived in a trailer park. You had no money. You got a collision shop. You have an auto sales. You have 20 apartments. I was probably building a house I was building houses at the time. Like, I'd come a long way. I'm like, yeah, but Paula, you don't understand. My sister's name is Paula. I'm like, you don't understand. I got Tony's information, and my life changed forever. Look at me. I'm a better person. I've still got all that crap, but I'm doing better. I want to give back to other people, and I want to make this a business. And yay! And wah. So she left, and I was like, all right, she's right. Who the hell am I to think I can do this? I don't have backing. Tony, he was partnering with Guthy-Renker, the top infomercial company in the world. I didn't have anybody. I didn't know how to get on TV. I didn't know who was going to take the calls. I didn't know if people were going to buy. And then I'm like, I got to hook a merchant account? What's a merchant account? Oh, I got it. I went to my bank. They're like, we don't do merchants. You got to go. So like all this stuff, the complexity was huge. And I just want to, the reason I want to share this is because I can put myself back in that feeling of overwhelm, back in that feeling of all my limiting beliefs, all my fear bubbling to the top. And I remember I was so excited, and I told I'm not the person that tells everybody what I'm going to do. I'd rather say, look what I've done. But I did tell my family. I did tell my closest friends. And I remember thinking, I can't talk to anyone. I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm just going to lose the money. I was, maybe $100,000 in. And now, if you understand what $100,000 is to me at the time, it's everything. It's all the money I had plus money I didn't have. And I'm like, I'm throwing it all away. This isn't going to work. I'm an idiot. Who am I? And man, I went to a shell. Like, I was like, I didn't tell anybody. I stopped talking about it. I was like, I wanted to avoid everybody. People might page me because it wasn't a cell phone at the time. I'd have friends page me, and I wouldn't call them back. I wasn't talking to my dad. I'd go to work, my head down. And it was just this terrible feeling. And I'm only telling you this one story because I've done this multiple times in my life. I did it when I wrote my first book. I did it when I was launching another next level company. Your brain goes back to this. You're not good enough. You're a poser. Like, you got this far, great. But going to the next level, come on. You're kind of an imposter. You don't really fit in here. Our brain does that. Now, maybe yours doesn't. And if you were born without it, fantastic. I give you all the kudos in the world because I do. And maybe I just didn't find my center, find my alignment early enough in life. But I'm telling you this for a reason. Because what changed that? Because here's what I know. I don't know how long that lasted, but it was enough where I tormented myself. It was enough for, I remember this, and I'm embarrassed to tell you, but listen, you're my inner circle family. I remember at home, you had a cordless phone. Now, that cordless phone was like this big with a big old antenna. You'd pull the antenna out. You're laughing at me because you don't even know what I'm talking about. So I'd be at home with this big antenna, and I remember calling, trying to get some kind of proof of like, what do I do? Do I go on? And I'm like, I can't do it. And I remember, again, embarrassing, I remember taking the phone and throwing it against the wall, and it smashed in a million pieces. How stupid. I had to go buy another one, then I had to patch the hole in the wall. And I just went into a shell. And again, I think of like what got me out. And back then it would take me a lot longer to get out compared to now. And I want to give you some tactics to get out of that mindset of going into a shell. Because here's what I want to share with you before I give you the tactics. I almost quit. I almost never entered this industry. You never would have known me. You never would have seen any of my training. You wouldn't have seen any of my videos. I wouldn't be on Instagram. I wouldn't be a multiple New York Times best-selling author. I wouldn't be partners with Tony Robbins, the guy who changed my life. I wouldn't have the KBB course that's literally become a movement, helping people in 150 countries around the world. I probably wouldn't be married to the woman I am with the kids that I have. Like, none of that would have happened. And this is something I just told somebody the other day, and maybe you heard me if you're part of KBB. I said this, but my inner circle members need to hear this one thing. Imagine if I let going into a shell and being scared stop me from entering the knowledge industry. I probably would have been okay. My car business was doing great. My real estate business was doing great. I would have been fine. But I wouldn't have done something I want to talk about in the next section. I wouldn't have done something with purpose. I wouldn't have done something with meaning. I'm not knocking being in the collision business, but it didn't feel meaningful to me. I didn't feel I was making an impact on other people, and I know that I was meant to do that. I think we all are. Going into my shell almost cost me that. So could you imagine being at the end of your life and you sit down with God or your maker, you're like, hey, God, I'm here, great. Made it to 100, awesome. All right, so let me look, and God opens up the book of your life. He's like, wow, I see you have some beautiful kids, and life was pretty good for you. Yeah, life was good. Imagine the two tails, right? Imagine the tail that when it went wrong, when there was no proof, when everybody told you were crazy, when your inner voice said you were an imposter. Imagine all those things that made you just step back a little bit and play a little small and go, oh yeah, maybe who am I to be in the infomercial business, the information business? Come on, Dean. So what if God said, what if I didn't? What if that conversation with my sister made me quit that moment and just go back to what I was doing? Could you imagine if God said, okay, listen, I just want to give you a tale of two. Like, I see you got scared back. I remember I saw your sister went and talked to you. She did it out of pure love, you know. Yeah, I know that. And she talked to you, got scared, didn't you? Yeah. Kind of went quiet, didn't you? Yeah. Kind of went in a shell. Felt like a failure, yeah. And when you came out, though, you decided, hey, you're not going to fail anymore. You're going to play it safe. Well, I see you, I see you did well in the car business, and I saw you had a lot of regrets along the way, and and you lived a good life. I'm sorry to do this to you, but I got to. I want to show you if you didn't give up that day. I want to show you that you ended up going on you got over that obstacle. I see that you fought to have a culture of progress. I see that you didn't let the naysayers and that inner voice talk you off your path. I see you failed a lot, but you kept getting back up, and I'm really proud of you that you did, because you went on to be a multiple New York Times best-selling author. You went on to speak to people in stages of 15,000, 20,000 people around the world. You spoke to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. In fact, you've impacted over 2 million people, have got at least one thing from you that changed their life. Wow. All because you got yourself out of that shell. You didn't listen to the wrong people. You didn't listen to that inner voice. I know that inner voice. Believe me, I try to be the voice of you can, but there's always that voice of you can't. If you look through that lens, we have to not allow ourselves to go into a shell, not get quiet, not get scared, not get fearful, not fuel the voice of you can't. We have to do everything in our power, whatever it is for you. Listen, it could be a million different things. It could be immersing yourself and going through inner circle trainings. Geek out. If you're in a space like that, geek out and watch every inner circle training you possibly can. Watch my videos on YouTube. Go find Tony Robbins or Ed Milet or Rachel Hollis or Jenna Kutcher. Find someone who speaks into your soul, that gives you the voice of you can. Get yourself out of that shell. Force yourself to call your friends. Tell the friends you really care about what you're going through. Tell someone in this group. Tell someone on a Facebook group. Get the voice, because what you'll do is when you're in that shell, you'll only talk to the people that'll reinforce why you should stay in that shell. You need to break out of that shell. You need to feel uncomfortable. You need to talk to people that don't make you feel like you're a loser or a dreamer or you have too big of expectations. You need someone to say, yeah, this is brutal, but you're freaking worth it. The world is worth it. God put you on this earth to do more than just play small. And when you look through that lens, then, if you're a KBB family member, you know we talk about it, then we have to create a culture of progress. It's not about being me. If you want to be in the information business, listen, when I started, Tony was in for 20 years. You know how many people's lives he impacted? Millions. You know how many lives I impacted besides my close family? Zero. I wasn't Dean Graziosi, the multiple New York Times best-selling author back then. I was Dean Graziosi, the collision shop, auto sales, fix an apartment guy, broke, started off broke, didn't go to college, and this is the guy that's going to teach us how to have a better life? Yeah, I was. And I had to start somewhere. And I started in a niche of how to do cars. But there were still thousands and thousands of people around the country that wanted that. And I got to serve and help people. I didn't give up on Motor Millions. I got the infomercial on the air. I didn't have resources, but I was resourceful as hell. I had a culture of progress. Every day I just got a little further. All day I'd work on houses and cars. All night I'd work on that. I was running my infomercial business, my information business, out of my collision shop. I had 2 phones on my desk. When that red one rang, everybody be quiet. It's the infomercial. It's the information business. It was horrible. And then it was less horrible. And then it was amazing. And then it was probably horrible a couple more times. And then even more amazing. And now I get to do something meaningful, something I'm passionate about, something that fills my soul. Was it easy? Hell no. Did I want to go in my shell 100 times? Have I? Yes. But I fought really damn hard to get out, because you can't be the best version of yourself. We have to create a culture of progress. The only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday, last week, last year. If I compared myself to Tony Robbins, I'm just a fool. Just a fool. I compared myself to the collision guy who was trying to help others and create a new company. That's who I compared myself to. Now, here's the thing. I just got to be real and raw with you. If you think that I just had this figured out, and every time it went sideways and I was questioned, that I was just like, no, I can do this. It's a culture of progress. I'd be lying through my teeth. I've questioned myself every quarter, every certain amount of time, forever, still to this day. I still have that voice that says you're an imposter. You really can handle all these things that are going on. I still have that. But I found a way, in my own way, to combat it. And a couple of things I want to give to you. One is work on your courage muscle. When you hide, when you get small, when you get fearful, courage goes away. Goes away. And without courage, we do nothing. Courage is not the absence of stress. It's not the absence of fear. It's not the absence of wanting to go in your shell. It's not the absence of feeling like you don't belong. That's not courage. Courage is when you feel that way and you still do it. So what builds your courage? I don't know. What builds your courage? Is there a certain person in your life, a certain video, being a part of the inner circle? If that is what builds your courage, then do more of it. If someone in your life takes away your courage, if watching the news takes away your courage, if anything in your life makes you feel bad, your confidence and your courage go down, here's the brilliant part. Stop doing it. Do less of it. Do more of the things that give you the ability to go, I'm going to move forward and I'm scared to death. I'm going to move forward and I'm not sure if I can take this company from 1 million to 20. I'm not sure if I could take this job I have. It's a great job, but I need to impact people's lives. I need something meaningful. I'm going to transition. I got this little side business. I got to have the courage to move forward. What builds your courage muscle? What builds your confidence? And obsess on those. Do more of them and less of the things that take it away. So here's a little tactical strategy that I would suggest you do, like right now. If not, listen to it again. If you can't write something down right now, that's okay. But I would like you to think of a time when you failed, or a time you were scared. I'm looking at my notes because I wrote these when I was in a zone. But I want you to think about a past experience that was a mess. And it didn't seem like there was any hope. And you thought all the worst, but you kept going anyway. You went through a bad breakup. You thought it was the end of your life, but now you're in the relationship of your dreams. You had a tough time with the kids. There was something going wrong, and you thought, my daughter, my son's going to be like this forever, but now they're amazing. You had the bad medical report, but you found a way through it, and you're on the other side of it. You lost the job. The business wasn't going. Your top employee quit. Your coworker got the promotion. You didn't. When is there a time in your life you wanted to launch your first mastermind, your first workshop, you launched your first book, and no one showed up or no one bought the book? When has that happened in your life? and it sucked, but you kept going. And if you really analyze it, you realize God or whoever you believe in put that in your life on purpose because you're a better parent. You're better in relationships. You're better finding happiness. You're better at business. You're better at marketing. You're better at selling. You're better at whatever it is you do because that happened. I'd love for you to take a moment and really think about that. Think about what in your life was put there on purpose so you could prove that you could go through it. Because if a great predictor of the future is to look to the past, I guarantee there has been more than one. I would say even take the time. We won't do it now, but take the time and figure out 3 times in your life. I could sit here and tell you 3. Writing that book was one. The Motor Millions story I just told you. Heck, going through a divorce, scariest time of my life because I thought I was going to mess up my kids forever. My kids are thriving more than ever before in their entire lives. They have a mom that they love dearly, who's now I'm better friends with than I've been before, and they have a bonus mom who loves them dearly. They're thriving. I'm not an advocate of divorce. I'm in the greatest relationship of my life. Maybe I needed to step up as a man, learning from that mistake. I'm a better human. I'm a better spouse, and I'm married to the woman of my dreams, and we're 5.5 weeks away from having a baby, and I love it, and it's got me, I feel young and healthy and strong because I want to be this amazing dad for my current kids and our new boy, Luca, and my wife wants 3 or 4 more, so I better stay in shape, right? But where in your life have you gone through that and it was supposed to be your journey? Now you're on the other side. If we can look to that, then whatever it is in front of you, whatever it is you're facing, we realize that our next level of life lives on the other side of the thing that puts us in a shell, the thing that we fear the most, the thing we're worried about, or the thing we're hiding from. That is actually the thing we have to conquer. That is the dragon we must slay. But we have to find the courage and the confidence to just say, I'm doing it. We have to change the framework of being scared to being, this is my opportunity. This is my chance to get in the game. Give me the ball, coach. I might drop the first couple, but give me a few tries and I'll score a touchdown. Sorry for the sports metaphor, but that's what life is all about. And the more I surround myself with successful people who also have a big heart and they feel fulfilled, not just money and unhappy, not just money and not making an impact. I'm talking about the people I'm blessed to surround myself with. They found success, but they found a way to live heart-centered. And isn't that what we all want? Isn't that what we all desire? And the last piece of this first section, talk about how it's, let's talk about how it's harder to grow when things are smooth. Now, I'm not saying you're going through a bad time right now. There's so many of you on here in a perfect place in your life. But just think about the old, I wrote the comment here, the smoothest stone is always in the roughest part of the stream, right? You know, when you find a stone in a stream and it's smooth and it's round, it's because it's been in there getting tumbled and tossed around and it's smooth. And the rugged ones are on the side because they never had to jump in the stream and handle that. It's kind of the same way in life. If you look at the people who've achieved the most, it's usually the ones that got through the hardest times. You can't be judged when things are right. In fact, we get complacent when everything's perfect. That's why I think God puts these roller coaster in our life. I got this. This is amazing. Oh, shit. I can't believe this is going wrong. Oh, no, never mind. I figured it out. I'm good. Oh, I'm 30 now. I got to figure it out. No, I don't know anything I'm doing. Like, why is it like that? Because how would we know happiness if we don't know sadness? How would we know success unless we know failure? How do we know how much we can take until it's put in front of us? What if the thing standing between you and your next level is actually the thing you need to overcome so you can have that next level? I want to leave that part, this part of you, this section, I want to leave you with that thought. So that was the first question. That was the number one question you asked. I know some of you might say, I don't go into my shell when things are tough. Okay, but I hope you got something out of it. Let me know out of that first section. Give me a thumbs up or a hell yes if something or one piece of what I just shared resonated with you. Were you able to take one thing, throw the rest away, but is there one thing I shared that you're like, yep, I'm making that adjustment, that tweak. I'm glad I'm spending this time with Dean here in the inner circle, our family. Whether you're watching this live, which thank you, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you are in here, all these amazing messages. If you're watching a replay, just as strong, make sure you're here. Okay, second question is how can I stay true to myself and achieve success at the same time? It's a really amazing question. Here's what I believe. We all want to have more money. Let's just face it. I'm not going to poo-poo money here. But what if there was something bigger than that? And here's I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, Dean, you got money now. You can talk about this. No, I want you to really think about this. And I'm sharing this in a way that I've never shared before, so it's going to come out the way it comes out. But if you want another level of success, let's just call it success in your life, you know you got to put the work in, right? So many of you already have a very thriving, successful business. I'm not talking to people that are, broke and homeless, right? You already know how to create value in the world. You create value, you receive income from that value you create, right? But if you're a part of the inner circle, I'd bet to say that you are craving, desiring, working towards another level of you. Is that true? Right? You want another level of success, impact, meaning in your life. So here's what I've been thinking about a lot more lately than ever before. I know what it's like not to have money. I know what it's like when my mom worked 3 jobs to make $90 a week. I know what that looks like. My mom was my first muse. My mom was the reason I worked so hard. I couldn't wait to retire her. I couldn't wait to send her money, watching her work so hard, cleaning houses, cutting hair, painting houses, all the stuff that she did, and come home, her hands would hurt, her feet would hurt. And my mom was a beautiful woman who worked so hard to support me and my sister, and my dad at the time just didn't help us out, and she had to figure it out. And that's why I love it. In my 20s, I retired my mom, or started sending her money, and I still do every single week of her life. I say that because lack of money from my mom caused her a lot of stress, worry. We moved from trailer park to rented house to Graham's house and all over the place, right? We all have our own story. So money was important to me at a young age because we didn't have it, and I saw what it caused my mom, and I wanted to get money out of the way to take care of mom. Then I ended up retiring my dad too, not that much long after, and both of those are amazing, and I love that. So I'm not poo-pooing money because money can solve problems. But here's what I know. If you're going to create something that equals more success in your life, it's going to take work. It's going to take learning from somebody who's already been there. Can we agree on that? It's going to take overcoming obstacles. Can we agree on that? It's going to take improving your mindset, because that's why people hit lotto, go broke. They have $1 million, they have resources, but they don't have a resourcefulness type of mindset that knows how to maintain that. So can we agree we also need mindset, right? We need to overcome obstacles. We need to slay that inner villain telling us we can't. We're going to fail. We're going to achieve. We're going to learn from other people who've already done there. We're going to get criticized. We're going to be called dreamers. Now, this is if you're already in business wanting to go to the next level. It just happens. I was listening to Joel Osteen 2 days ago. He's like, the higher you get, the bigger the enemy. There's nothing you can do. The enemies aren't going to go away. You have to figure out how to deal with the enemies, right? So if we're going to go to another level, those things are going to happen anyway. So why not decide either as the thing you're going into or the thing you want to scale or the side business you want to do, why not find something that can create more meaning in your life? I'm going to challenge you on that, right? You're like, oh, Dean, that's because you're in this business. No, any business, because the world has changed. I'm talking to people right now all over the world. Right? I watched where you said all over the world. Right now, we just flipped the switch and we're live. That wasn't available in the past. It is now. So I want you to think about, if you're going to put the time, effort, and energy into do something bigger, better, stronger, more success, more control of your time, freedom, whatever it is that you want, what about stepping back a little bit and really thinking about what you could do that would be meaningful in your life, that would impact others, that would give you more purpose? Because the time, effort, and energy is going in anyway. You might get done. You might be in a business right now that's making you money, but it's not really that exciting. I get up and do this thing. Like I said, if I stayed fixing cars, it's cool. I help people fix their cars, and I probably could have found some meaning in that, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't lighting me up. I didn't feel like I was living on purpose. I didn't feel like I was doing anything meaningful. When I got those tapes and DVDs from Tony Robbins, like, now this is something meaningful. This is something I could get a purpose behind. This is something impactful. Listen, we know that unless you're a kid, and that's okay if you're a kid, if you're under 12, right? We know that giving gifts releases more endorphins. It stimulates your body, giving almost twice as much as receiving. Two things I know that light up your soul: being grateful and impacting other people, right? When we give. So what I'm going to encourage you to do today, it says, how do you stay true to yourself and achieve success? I think we've just grown up with this: should I impact lives and help people and serve and be broke and not have a successful business? Or should I just go after the money and be greedy? Like, I think that's how our subconscious wants to look at it. And I don't believe that's the case anymore. I think there's so many different things you could do that could create impact, help others, serve other people, while simultaneously creating success in your life. That's what I'm going to challenge you to think about. That's what I'm going to challenge you to really think through. Now, those of you that are in KBB, you're a part of my family. You're a part of what Tony and I have been able to do for so long. Tony for 20 years longer than me. How do you share a skill, a hobby, a passion, an expertise? How do you share a bad experience you went through, a mess that you can help people leapfrog, so you turn your mess into a message? To me, oh my God, to have the ability to help you right this second, I'm helping you right this second. While at the same time, I get to help 70 employees in this building. I get to write books. I get to do workshops and masterminds and courses. I get to impact people, give you skills, capabilities. Do you know how good this feels for me? I'm just telling you. I'm sitting here right now. I'm watching all your beautiful messages come in. And when I'm done, I will read every one of these. I am busier than hell, but nothing lights me up more. I promise you, if you leave me a message, I will read it. I can't look now because I'll get distracted. But do you know what that'll do to my soul today? I'll be on fire. I'm working harder right now than I've worked in probably 30 years getting prepared for this launch. Do you know what fuels me? Is the impact I'm making. The byproduct is that my success is growing, but right now my whole life is focused on impact. And because of that, I have meaning. Because of that, I don't even have sports that I do. I don't really have any hobbies because I love what I do, and I love my kids, and I love my wife. That's pretty much all my time. My students, my team, my wife, my kids. Anything outside of that? Because I love what I do. I would wish that for you. And again, you might be thinking, oh, Dean, you got 20 years of this. Tony had 20 years more than me. I had to start on day one. We have to start somewhere. And if you're going to start someplace, if you're going to do something bigger, try to find something that fills your soul up. Because again, let's go back to the end of our lives. And we're sitting with God or our maker, whoever you believe in. Wouldn't you love to say, I served in the greatest way possible. I found something meaningful in my soul. I impacted other people's lives. Oh yeah, by the way, I had some success too. But wouldn't it be great if the byproduct of leaning into meaning was actually the success that you got? Right? How's that? Well, think about that today. In a moment here, we're going to answer some questions. So if you could write, if you have a question for me, put a Q, ask the question, try to make it just one, shorter the better. A big no will write them down and bring them over to me. So let me ask you this. Again, these are the questions. These are the top two questions a Bigna said you wanted, so I'm leaning into it. I hope it's serving you today. Have you ever had something in your life that brought you financial success, but you didn't feel that great about it? If you give me a yes, if you could. I know you got the cues coming in here too, but think about that. Have you ever had something that gave you money, a job, selling something that you didn't know was that great, partnership? The money came on a Friday or on a monthly basis, whatever it was, but you kind of ignored it. It wasn't that fulfilling. Have you ever had that? Right? So give me a yes if that's true. Now, on the other side, have you ever had something that just like, oh, this felt so good. I shared with my friend who was going through a tough time. I talked at the local PTA meeting. I did my first event. I wrote posts. I'm doing video blogs, and it's changing people's lives. I've helped people get into a home, and they were so like, have you ever done something that you just knew, like, man, if I could do that all the time, I would love life? Can you give me another yes if you've also done something that lit you up, but you couldn't see yourself making money? You just wish it could, right? I see the yeses and of course coming in. So that's why, I'm not trying to oversimplify this in any way. That's why I want you to think about this today. The world has changed. We don't have to decide. We have the ability to do things. Go out and search for it. If you're a KBB member, if you're working with Tony and I already, you know this to be true. You're a part of the most amazing family on the planet. You know that you could share your soul, your heart, your passion, your experience, your expertise, your skill, or the mess you went through. Help people who want that information. And the byproduct will be success. But there's lots of ways. Research. Spend the time. You are going to spend the effort and the energy to do something more. Because you're here, I already know that. Why not try to find that alignment sooner? It may seem difficult. It's not as hard as you think. And again, all you amazing KBB members that are in the group, I appreciate you. Those that aren't, it's awesome. Whatever it is that you're doing, make sure you keep doing it. And again, if you're a KBB member or not, I should say, if you're not a KBB member, you definitely need to register. You'll go to deanstraining.com. Tony Robbins and I are going live on February 27th. If you like this conversation, wait till Tony and I. We're going to be sitting right here live on the 27th and light it up. We're doing an hour today. Tony and I are going to be doing 2 hours, and we are going to open your eyes up to that possibility of impact and success. You go to deanstraining.com. When this is done, a big note, keep putting the link in there too, but go to deanstraining.com and reserve your spot. I know so many of you probably already have. I know the majority of you in here are already a part of KBB. So here's what I say. You're a part of KBB, still show up. This is our movement. This is our family. We're going to have more people brought into our family. We're about 24,000 people strong in 150 countries, 4,300 different niches. We want to make that bigger, stronger. We want the world to experience this. This is about impact. This is about creating a movement. So if you're a KBB member, here's what I'll tell you. Register, show up for the training. Bring people over your house. Have a view party. If you're one of our people that are, if you're supporting Tony and I for this, thank you, thank you, thank you. Bring a whole bunch of people over your house. Get the popcorn and let them be exposed to some of the things you're doing. You know, so many times in life, if you get something out of this today and you go tell a friend, like, you listen to that guy, you listen to Tony Robbins, a lot of foo-foo, I'm just going to go to work. I'm real. You got any of those real friends in your life? Get their butts to your house on February 27th at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time and say, we're having a viewing party that's going to change your life forever. Don't you try to convert them. Let us convert them, okay? Amen to that. Let us do it. Let them spend a couple hours with the two of us and see. Listen, I appreciate you guys so much. Abigna, did you get some questions? I see a couple more coming in. If you got the question, put the Q. But remember, deanstraining.com, reserve your spot. Have a viewing party. Change the people in your life. You don't have to be the one to teach them. Let us teach them. We'll disturb them for inaction. Okay, how do we break the pattern? Write their names. Oh, no, it's not really names. I get it because it's all handles. Whoever's question was, how do we break the pattern of never following our dreams and making money only with our plan B? You know, I have to tell you, people always say to me, give me the tactics, Dean, give me the tactics. Man, we always got to go upstream. Why do you think I have this inner circle? Because I want to bust that story up in your head and give you some pieces that just drive you forward. So how do you break the pattern of never following through? Just decide, first off, decide today you're breaking the pattern. Because the story we tell ourselves is where we go. So I don't know your name, but I'll have to tell you, if you've broken the pattern and haven't followed your dreams in the past, and you say, I never follow my dreams, you never will follow your dreams. So first off today, I want you to tell yourself, this is homework, I want you to tell yourself 100 times today, I'm following my dreams. I'm following my dreams. I'm strong enough. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. I live in the right area. I have the right friends. I'm following my dreams forever. I'm never letting go of my dreams ever again. I am a person who follows through with my dreams. I don't care if you just say that. I'm a person that follows through with my dreams. Say it so much that you get goosebumps. Because who we were yesterday is not who we are today. And then the second thing is get yourself a big-ass, compelling future to stare at every day. Know this. If you stay here, you get to say to God, I played small. I didn't go with my dreams. Or you get to say to God, I went after it. I failed a bunch of times. I was scared to death. People thought I was crazy. But I went after it. And this is what I got to do. That's my homework for you, okay? I'm chasing perfection. How do I overcome try to make everything perfect? Okay. Have you ever chased the horizon? Have you ever chased the horizon? You know, the sun's going down, like, let me go grab it. You get in your car. You go as fast as you want. You ain't catching it. Never going to catch it. You can go 150 miles an hour. That horizon is, you're never going to get to it and go, oh, I got the horizon. It's always going to be in front of you. That's perfection. You know what perfectionism is? It's your subconscious trying to protect you. It's your subconscious that doesn't want you to be scared or fail. So he's saying, if it was perfect, then I could do it. It will never be perfect. When you get your body in perfect shape, you're like, man, I've been working out like crazy. I've ignored my husband. Shit. And then you work on that and you start listening and you're engaged. And you're like, oh, my body's good. My relationship's good. Oh, shit. I haven't been working really good at work. I've let my team down. All right, let me go focus on my team. It's like, oh, I'm focusing on my team. It's like, oh, man, I've ignored my kids this entire time because I've been working out, trying to get my husband on track and working at work. I'm sorry. That's life. We cannot be perfect in all area. Perfection is the opposite of courage. Courage is taking action when you're not perfect. Courage is telling your subconscious to shut up. Courage is not using that as an excuse on why you're not taking action. Just like I told the previous person, today's the best day to say, I'm not going to be perfect anymore. I'm just going to go after it. Okay? That's my message to you. All right. I know we got some questions coming in. What is the main thing you teach your children? Ever ask me that's going to make me cry? I don't know. I probably screw that up all the time, too. But what I do with my kids, I say that half jokingly because as a parent, okay, this one, please, if you're a parent, answer me this. Have you ever done something you thought was like, that was being a good parent and you reprimanded your kids, you took something away, you talked to them in a certain way because of something they did, and then they're away from you for like an hour and you go, oh, I screwed that up. Oh, that's a therapy moment in 20 years. Why was I looking at it through that lens and not this lens? If you've ever had that moment as a parent, please make me feel not so bad about myself and say, yes, you've had that moment or that's happened to me. But what is the main thing I do with my children is transparency, authenticity, and the truth. I talk to my kids since they were little like they're definitely older than themselves. I don't hold anything back. I talk to them as if I'd talk to you if you're sitting here asking advice. And a lot of times it was over their head, but they'd grow into it. I don't hide anything from talking about sex, talking about drugs. I've done it. I'm going to be really transparent. I talked to my kids about sex when they were 8 because I read an article that said by 9 years old, 60% of kids are told what sex is by a friend. I didn't want a friend telling them. And I didn't want them to think sex was something ugly. I wanted to think it was something beautiful between two people who are in love, and it's magical, and it was put on this earth for us to bond, but it's got to be the right thing. It's such a, like, that's how I talk to my kids. I talk to my kids about drugs. I talk to my kids about porn. I told my kids when they were 6 and 8, or 8 and 10, I'm like, someday, somebody's going to grab a phone or an iPad and go, oh, watch this, and there's going to be porn on it. And I'm like, I'm not going to be there. But I just want to tell you, it's one of the #1 causes of divorce. It's one of the #1 causes of people can't find satisfaction. It's not good in any way possible. So I'm not going to be there. When that happens, it's going to be all on you. You're going to get to make the decision is, do you have the values that say, I don't think so? The values to push the phone away. Somebody's going to hand you a pill and say, when you're 16 or 15, and say, hey, I found this in my parents' medicine cabinet. I think it'll make us stay up all night or make us feel better. You want to take it? So I'm not going to be in the back seat or on the way to a party or away to the mall when that happens. You're going to be there. So you asked for one thing. I talk to my kids like adults. I talk to them real. I created a culture of honesty. Neither one of my kids have ever lied to me. I've never caught them lying to me once because I gave them the freedom to be able to tell me anything. My kids can tell me anything and I don't freak out. Anything. Do I still want to talk to them and figure it out? Of course. So I talk to them like they're older, and I created a culture of honesty, and I do the best I possibly can in reading as many books as I can. I interview people that I think are great parents, and then the rest, I just hope I'm not screwing things up. Okay, a couple more questions here. How can you help someone who's had a heart attack? Is it a heart attack? And I think he's not able to work, lost his house, and the desire to work and live. Listen, I have never worked with someone who had a heart attack. I've known a lot of people, so I don't want to give advice on that. All I know is it's a traumatic experience, and it's probably scary as hell. And then it makes you question, did I live? And these are from my buddy Brendan Burchard. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I make an impact? All the questions we're all going to ask. Why do you think I'm here sharing this with you now? You don't want to be at the end of your life. I'm not talking about this gentleman. I'm talking about being 100 years old and say, did I do those things? Damn it, I didn't. So what I would say is, that's twofold. There's another layer there, their health. Is it true that people who have heart attacks have gone on to thrive and get healthier than ever and be stronger and live long lives? I would bet to say that's absolutely true. We know it's true. So I would help him find guidance from people who have already been there, and that's probably online. Find people, Google it. That's what today's world's amazing. Find somebody who's been through a heart attack and has thrived on the other side. Then I would absolutely help with his mindset, because you had a heart attack, you lost your house. That's really brutal. That's hard. The only way it's going to help him through that is mindset, because he's not going to get money overnight. He's not going to. There's no magic genie going to wave a wand and everything be perfect. So the only way he gets on the road to redemption, the road to another level, is shifting his mindset. So help him see a path with his health. Help him see a path with a mindset, and then third, watch some of these videos with him and get him back on another track. Okay, let's do one more here. How can I change a mindset that goes on automatic mode and is not possible? It can be done there. There's no way because of upbringing. Listen, I'm going to let you in on a little something. I think I'm a born pessimist who has found a way to be an optimist. My brain defaults to what's wrong every single time. Every time I want to go to another level, my brain's like, you're a fool, that ain't going to work, you're dumb, you're not that smart, you're going to lose it all. I literally still have that voice inside of me. I'm going to just confess every day. You're probably thinking, whoa, I'm following a guy that's got that voice? Yeah, you should follow me because I have that voice, but I fight it and I beat it every single day. I find a way to shut it up. I find a way to prove it wrong. Listen, that voice that you have is going to be the voice that leads you to the biggest regret of your life when it's time for the end. Do you want to give it that much power? Seriously, do you want to give it that much power? Find a way to change it. Check your thoughts. Read Michael Singer's The Untethered Soul or Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Read those books in the next 2 weeks. Literally, I'm giving you an assignment. Anybody who doesn't know how to control those thoughts, I don't know how to control them magically. I can't snap a finger and like, oh, I'm joyful. I have to go through a process. I have to live in the moment. I have to find a way to realize that voice is full of crap. If I listen to that voice, my life will be small. If I shut that voice up and live in the moment with a more empowering voice, my life can be big. So read one or the other or both. Michael Singer's The Power of Now, or Michael Singer's The Untethered Soul, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Read them. If this is anywhere in your life, read that. And that's my homework. All right, guys. That's been our inner circle. I've had so much fun being with you today. I am literally moving 100 miles an hour, but I slowed down to be with you, and I was present, and I lived in the moment. And I hope you guys enjoyed today. This was your 2 biggest questions, hopefully answered in the most caring way I could possibly share. And if you're not already registered, go do it right now. DeansTraining.com. Reserve your spot for the training with Tony Robbins and I. I know most of you are already registered. If you could write that in there, Bigness, she's sitting right over here helping us. And if you're a KBB member, reserve your spot. Get people over your house, even if you're not. Seriously, if you like what we shared today, imagine 2 hours of it with Tony and I, and we're bringing on my dear friend Jenna Kutcher. So we're going to have some female energy rocking the house, and my other friend Russell Brunson with a different perspective. It's going to be an incredible training. I think it'll be one of those trainings you'll remember for the rest of your life, and I think it's going to be the biggest online training in the history of the world. Imagine that, and you could be a part of it. Remember this, if you come on the 28th, you'll have FOMO, because you missed it. If you're listening to this after the 28th, still go to DeansTraining.com and we'll have some great information for you. So either way, don't miss it. Can't wait to hang out with you. Appreciate you guys. See you next month.